Hey, Leap Inspire family, brace yourselves for a heart-stopping chapter that'll wrap you in a storm of love, betrayal, and impossible choices, so intense you'll feel the pulse of every moment. Imagine a single glance that freezes time, a love so fierce it battles pain and pride, and by the end, you'll be racing to hit that subscribe button to find out if Anna and Rudra's hearts collide or drift apart forever. Anna's chest heaved, her heart hammering like a Mumbai monsoon against the sterile white walls of the hospital room, the sharp sting of antiseptic mingling with the sweat on her brow, her body still raw from the labor pains that had torn through her like a tidal wave hours earlier, each contraction a fire that made her scream. "Rudra, I can't do this, I'm breaking!" Her nails digging into his arm, drawing blood as she clung to him, his steady voice cutting through her panic. "You're stronger." "Then you know, Anna, I'm not leaving you." His eyes locked on hers, a beacon in her chaos. Now, as she lay exhausted, cradling baby Anirudh, his name a tender fusion of hers and Rudra's, a whispered promise between their fractured souls. His tiny fingers gripped her thumb, his soft coos a melody that soothed her aching heart, though the truth of her role as a surrogate weighed like a boulder, reminding her that this child, born of her blood, sweat, and tears, wasn't legally hers. A wound deepened by Rudra's act of burning the contract that had chained her to him, freeing her body but leaving her heart tangled in the love she felt for Anirudh and Aarav, the 4-year-old whose superhero dreams had claimed her soul. Hours earlier, when her water broke, the house had erupted in a frenzy, Aarav's small voice trembling. "Granny, Bambi's hurting, save her!" As he fumbled with the phone to call Rudra, who was trapped in a boardroom, his jaw clenched as he ignored his secretary's protests, only to bolt when his mother's voice thundered. "Anna's in labor, get here now!" His car tearing through Mumbai's choked streets, past honking rickshaws and street vendors, his mind haunted by the guilt of missing Aarav's birth, determined not to fail Anna now. In the hospital, as she pushed through blinding pain, Rudra knelt beside her, wiping sweat from her face, his fingers trembling yet gentle, his eyes a silent vow as her screams filled the room, until Anirudh's first cry shattered the chaos, a sound that stilled the world, her pain fading as the nurse placed him on her chest, his tiny hand brushing her cheek, and Rudra, though he'd secretly hoped for a girl, smiled with a joy that rivaled the sunrise over the Arabian Sea. Aarav's arrival, his superhero cape flapping as he burst in, calling the baby Cheeseball, for his pale, soft skin, sparked laughter through their tears, his innocent logic, declaring he'd protect his brother like Superman. Melting Anna's heart as she recalled a sunset walk weeks prior along Marine Drive, the salty breeze tangling her hair, her pregnancy cravings driving her to demand balloons and pani puri, Rudra indulging her whims, tying bright red balloons to her wrist as she giggled, asking, "Why is the sunset so beautiful?" His reply soft, "It's the end of a journey, a moment to thank God for carrying us through." His words echoing now as she faced her own journey's end. That night, as Rudra massaged her swollen feet, his touch careful, almost reverent, a warmth sparked in her chest, clashing with the scars of his past control, his harsh words, the humiliation of being his mistress, the cage of his contract that had once defined her existence. Yet his eyes held a sorrow, a regret she couldn't ignore, stirring memories of their lighter moments, like when she cried over him eating her favorite lettuce, only for him to tease her gently, or when they debated love under that sunset, Rudra insisting it's a silent force, like a mother's unspoken devotion, a truth she felt for Anirudh and Aarav, her heart torn between staying for them and fleeing to reclaim her life. A month after Anirudh's birth, with Aarav's heart surgery a success, Anna made her choice, slipping out at dawn, leaving only a scarf tucked between the sleeping boys, her whispered apologies. "I'm sorry, my pumpkins, please forgive me." Swallowed by the quiet, Rudra's silence as he handed her an envelope of money cutting deeper than any blade, his eyes hollow, as if he wanted to beg her to stay but respected her need to break free, though it left her feeling like she'd fallen in love with the cage itself, the home where she'd laughed, cried, and carried a child. Fate, however, had other plans. Waking in an unfamiliar room, her clothes muddy, head pounding from collapsing at a bus stand, she found herself in Akshat's home, his mother's warm parathas and kind smile pulling her into a new life in Kalaba, where she worked at their bustling cafe, the clink of coffee cups and chatter of customers a stark contrast to her inner turmoil, every child's laugh echoing Aarav's, every man's silhouette tricking her into seeing Rudra, her heart betraying her resolve to move on. Tanny's visit to the cafe shattered her fragile peace, revealing Rudra's spiral, drinking heavily, his company crumbling, Aarav crying nightly for his Bambi, believing she was on a trip, waiting for her return. And Anna's confession slipped out. "I love him," a truth she couldn't bury, her mind replaying Rudra's words about love as a connection felt without words, a force she lived every time she thought of Anirudh, carried for 9 months, or Aarav, whose superhero dreams had woven her into their family. Akshat's proposal under a canopy of heart-shaped balloons, his earnest, "I love you, Anna, marry me," forced her to confront her heart, her tearful refusal. "My heart belongs to Rudra." Echoing as she recalled their pani puri moments, her tantrums over spicy chaat, Rudra's patience as he fed her a bite, his laughter when she pouted, the way he described love as a spark that reignites every time you see someone, a spark she felt even now, at a glittering Bandra ballroom party, the air heavy with perfume and ambition, their eyes met across a sea of sequins and champagne, Rudra's gaze hollow yet burning, her body trembling as memories flooded back. His cruelty in locking her in a contract, his care in rushing her to the hospital, the night he'd eaten her lattice, sparking tears, only to soothe her with a quiet apology, her heart shattered seeing him dance with another woman, her arms around his neck, a sight that burned until Akshat admitted he'd spiked Rudra's drink to create a misunderstanding, hoping to claim Anna for himself. Days later, Rudra stormed into the cafe, his presence filling the small space, his desperate kiss pinning her against the wall, his lips rough yet pleading, his voice breaking as he begged, "Come back, Anna, for Aarav who cries for you, for Anirudh who needs you," warning her of Akshat's hidden motives, his eyes raw with a sincerity she hadn't seen before, handing her a key to her grandmother's house in Pune and a card with his number, vowing, "I'll wait till my last breath." Anna stood at a crossroads, her fingers clutching the key, her heart whispering Rudra's name, torn between the freedom she fought for and the love she couldn't deny, the Mumbai skyline glittering outside the cafe like a map of her heart's desires, each twinkling light a question. Could she forgive Rudra's past, the humiliation, the control, or was her love for the children enough to pull her back? Their final glance across the crowded cafe was a spark, a promise of a story unfinished, a love tested by pain, but unbroken by time, her steps faltering as she walked into the night, the weight of her choice heavier than ever, knowing Aarav's laughter and Anirudh's tiny kicks still called to her, even as Akshat's kindness offered a new path, one free of Rudra's shadows but lacking his fire. Every corner of the city held memories. The street vendor where they'd shared pani puri, the sunset walk where balloons danced above her wrist, the hospital where Rudra's hand had steadied her through the storm of birth, each memory a thread tying her to him. Yet her resolve to be free pushed her forward, her heart battling her mind, wondering if love was truly blind, as Akshat had said, or if it was the only thing that saw clearly. As she stood outside her grandmother's house, key in hand, the quiet Pune night wrapping around her, she saw Rudra's face in her mind, his broken gaze at the party, his desperate plea in the cafe, and Aarav's voice calling her, "Bambi," a name that held all the love she'd ever known. She whispered to the stars, "What is love, if not this ache?" knowing that whether she returned to Rudra or forged a new path, her heart would forever carry the weight of those boys, the family she'd built, and the man who'd both broken and rebuilt her world. So hit that subscribe button, Leap Inspire family, and join us next time to see if Anna steps back into Rudra's arms, fights for her freedom, or finds a way to heal her heart, forever bound to the love that defines her.